at no charge. And so we put flexibility into our program that allowed for the working adult to come back into our program.
Thank you, Bert. Okay. Now we will hear from Elizabeth, Dean of the School of Education, University of Guam.
First, I'm very happy to be here, and I'd like to take the option of saying I'm the newest one here. I arrived on island in August, so I really can't speak to what has been done at the School of Education, but I'd like to start by flattering our boss. He has us all very well trained, as you can see. Yesterday, he talked about the value of being academic, and so I'll have to be academic since I'm so new here, and what I did to begin is to ask the question, how are we going to lead the School of Education to address the necessary needs on the island? Because there's nothing more important for us than to make sure that the children of this island are well educated and well prepared, with or without a military buildup. And I reviewed the literature. And so in reviewing the literature about the relationship between education and economic development, I gleaned that there are three really important conditions for the education to be effective in promoting economic development. One is accountability and transparency. That's terribly important, and Speaker Juan Pat spoke to that today as well. And so whatever we do, we need to be pretty open about it. Second, and Ann Hattori spoke to this yesterday, was we really have to pay attention to enrollments in the School of Education to ensure that all students, all people on the island have an opportunity for the enrichment of new jobs and new career opportunities. If we don't do that and we have an underclass on the island, we're going to have increased social problems, and we clearly have an opportunity to prevent as much of that as possible and need to do that. And the third condition is what I would call synchronicity and collaboration. And that's that the timeliness of the education delivery has to match what the employers want to hire. So if we're producing 800 elementary teachers and they only have openings on the island for 20, we need to be taking a look at what we're doing. So those are three major conditions that have to work so that we are effective on the educational level in ensuring strong economic development on the island. Now, as many of you know, that universities have three main missions, particularly land-grant universities like UOG. They're to teach, to inform, and to serve. And so I've structured some of the things that we're hoping to do at the School of Education in those three categories, because that's mostly how academics think. The most important thing about teaching is that we coordinate with the schools and that we make sure that their needs are going to be addressed by our programs. And one of the things that we are doing to get ready for the build-up and the increased enrollments in the schools and the need for more teachers and administrators and counselors is we're going to be hiring 7 new full-time tenure-track faculty for next year. Very exciting. And we're going to be great. And we're going to be doing some other things, improving retention, improving recruitment, to reach into the schools to tell kids what a great career teaching and education is for them. Second, under informing, we're going to increase the research productivity of our faculty, in part by encouraging our current faculty to continue to do their research, but also by ensuring that the 7 new faculty are going to be active scholars doing research that informs the schools so that their decision making is more effective. Finally, under serving, we need to recruit more students that are going to be really excited about being teachers and administrators. And we need to promote successful collaboration with GCC, with Department of Education, with the private schools and the parochial schools, as well as the schools in the outer islands. I like the idea of the consortium that Bob Cooper spoke about, and I hope that we'll be able to form something like that with the School of Education as we form more relationships on the island and throughout the region. I can't speak to UOG. I hardly have unpacked. And Dr. Underwood really can handle it. But you can tell how important economic development is to our university because we're all here, and it's because of people like Dr. Underwood and others at the university that this forum is kicking off this very important discussion on the island. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Hawthorne, I was going to start with you, but since you've kind of turned it over to Dr. Underwood, I will start with Dr. Underwood. What plan does your institution have in place to strengthen Guam's workforce and diversify the human capital capacity to support Guam's economy? What evidence suggests that this is the direction to go, and what resources will you be able to tap into?
Well, obviously, almost everything that we do in life is an educational problem. That's how we see it. And so we're working very closely, I think, and you know, both Mary and I and Narissa are really involved in trying to figure out how these three institutions can work collaboratively. You know, a great part of the career-focused education at the Guam Department of Education is really via the Guam programs that are instituted by the Guam Community College. So there's that level of collaboration and cooperation. But there's also a need to refocus the curriculum on those areas where we're likely to develop a more informed citizenry and more awareness about their immediate surroundings. So we're talking about doing a little bit more in STEM fields. We're talking about science, technology, engineering, and math, so that there is a level of, so that our students are not just prepared to go work in those fields, but they're prepared to engage in those issues that are affected by those fields. And so that we want empowered, you know, environmental specialists. We want empowered engineers. We want people, informed citizenry who understands those topics, so that they can not read the entire EIS by themselves, but comprehend parts of the EIS, those things that affect them. So working collaboratively, we've talked about the idea of developing STEM fields and collaborating between UOG and GCC and DOE with the hope of turning GW into math science high school, and then focus on alternative energy or new technological fields where they will be developing their technical skills for work in those areas via the Guam Community College, and those high school students will start to see that. And then if they want to develop on a more in-depth level, we have advanced placement. We have an MOU that we're working on right now between UOG and DOE in order to do some advanced placement and in order to enroll some students from the Department of Education in that. Now, all of this, of course, can be because of the great emphasis of the new administration, the Obama administration, and because of the emphasis on national science, NSF, where we think that a substantial part of this could be funded by those federal sources.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Okada from GCC.
I'd like to share a little bit of the engineering that we've been doing as far as our own little build-up at the Guam Community College, both in the form of educational programs and physical plant. About a year ago, the college broke ground on the Allied Health Building, and next month we're going to ribbon cut that building. 2 weeks ago, we broke ground on the Learning Resource Center, and we expect that that new Learning Resource Center is going to be completed by September 30th, 2010. But we're not stopping with those two buildings, because there's a third building coming up in the horizon. Again, all going back